At exactly 4:37 a.m., before the first matata hoots echoed through Mlolongo, Gladys was already awake. Not because she wanted to, but because life had refused to give her the luxury of sleeping peacefully. The single bulb inside her Mabadi room flickered weakly as she tied a lasso around her waist and quietly checked on her son sleeping beside the wall. Daniel, 5 years old, curled inside a faded Spider-Man blanket someone had donated at church 2 years earlier. For a moment, she just stared at him, then sighed. Lazima life abada-like somehow, she whispered to herself. At 28 years old, Gladys already felt older than her mother. Not physically, but mentally. Life had squeezed her hard. The father of her child had disappeared after years of emotional manipulation, broken promises, and occasional violence disguised as love. At first, he sounded ambitious, protective, confident. But slowly the real man appeared. He borrowed her savings, insulted her, controlled her movements, cheated openly, then blamed her for thinking too much. One night, after a violent argument in their tiny rented room, Gladys walked out carrying Daniel wrapped in a blanket while it rained heavily outside. She never went back. And from that day, survival became her full-time job. Not career, not passion, survival. For years, she worked almost every hustle Nairobi could offer a desperate woman. Some mornings, she washed clothes in estates from 6 a.m. till evening as a mama FUA, her fingers cracking from soap and cold water. Other days, she worked as a waitress along Mombasa Road, where drunk men touched her waist while pretending to order sausages. Smile kiasi baby girl, SI Nitakupia tip. She hated those words, but she still smiled, because Daniel needed milk. Before that, she had worked as a house help in Syokimo for a family that treated her like invisible furniture. She ate leftovers alone in the kitchen, was accused whenever teaspoons disappeared, sometimes slept only 4 hours. Still, she endured. Then came hawking, socks, earphones, groundnuts, even boiled eggs inside traffic. She learned how Nairobi can humble people fast. Rainy days meant losses. Kanjo raids meant running for your life. And men. Men always saw struggling women as opportunities. Some offered help, expecting her body in return. A supermarket manager once told her directly, "Wiwi enai mrembo. Life yako haiwizi kuwa nguma hivyo kama yuju kutumia beauty yako vizuri." That sentence disgusted her for months. But Gladys was stubborn, painfully stubborn. Instead of giving up, she joined a chama called Pipia Women Group. 12 women, different struggles, one dream. Every Thursday evening, they met behind a small cafe near Mlolongo stage sharing tea, mandatsi, and survival stories. One sold matumba, another braided hair. One cooked chapati for construction workers. Another sold smokies outside schools. Every week they contributed small amounts, 200 Kenyan shillings, 500 Kenyan shillings, sometimes only 100 Kenyan shillings. To outsiders it looked meaningless, but to Gladys, that chama became oxygen. Years passed like that. Work, stress, bills, more work. Still, one thing never left her mind: the business dream. It began slowly. Every time she walked through busy roadside areas, she noticed something. People were constantly buying 3 things: water, milk, fast food, especially in crowded working-class estates. One afternoon, while delivering clothes to a client in Kariobangi Rounder area, she stood near a busy roadside watching people queue for water refills under scorching sun. Boda-bodas lined the road. Children carried containers. Workers bought chips wrapped in newspapers. Women rushed with milk packets before heading home. That was when something clicked inside her. What if all these services were in one place? The thought refused to leave. From that day, she became obsessed. Even while scrubbing clothes, she kept calculating business ideas in her head. Water refill, milk ATM, salad machine, small chips section. Simple, essential, daily demand. The problem was money. Everything needed money. Permits, rent, machines, stock, branding. Money she did not have. So Gladys became more aggressive with work. She woke earlier, worked longer, saved harder. Sometimes she cleaned houses during the day, then braided hair at night. Other weekends, she sold tea and mandazi near construction sites at dawn. Her body became permanently tired. But every time she wanted to quit, Daniel would say something small that broke her heart. Mummy Takona shop yutilini? Not knowing those innocent words pushed her harder than motivation speeches ever could. After nearly 4 years of nonstop hustling, chama contributions, and painful sacrifices, Gladys finally had enough savings to attempt something serious. Not enough for luxury, just enough to start. The stall in Kariobangi Rounder was tiny, dusty, old, but the location was perfect. Heavy foot traffic, near the road, near boat stage, near rental apartments. The landlord demanded 3 months deposit, electricity connection fee, water fee up front. Gladys almost backed out, but one woman from PPA Women Group looked at her and said, "Yukingaja kwanza yukuwa comfortable, hudue anza." So she paid. The first night after receiving the keys, Gladys sat alone inside the empty stall staring at the cracked walls. Cars passed outside. Music played from nearby wines and spirits. Someone argued loudly across the road. But inside that tiny room, for the first time in years, she felt something unfamiliar. Hope. Not full success. Not comfort. Just hope. And sometimes for people like Gladys, hope is the first real investment.